Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. It is Wellness Wednesday. So, welcome. I am so excited to be here. As you can hear in the back, we're going to wait a few more seconds before people to get in, but the jingle is starting. So, I'm super excited for today. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you are just joining us for the first time, uh, just so you all get us do a couple housekeeping rules. I cannot see comments because of how Facebook and StreamYard now have integrated. So you have to allow Facebook the opportunity to um, allow StreamYard to see your name. So if you don't mind, please make sure you do that. If you do leave a comment, and you may have comments, especially as it relates to today, I definitely want to make sure that we're able to talk about it and make sure you get your answers, those answers, the questions to those answered today. But more importantly, I need to be able to at least know your name. So definitely give StreamYard the access to be on the platform. I just want to make sure we say that. So again, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. We have an amazing show today. I am super excited because we are going to have to need all of our time to talk about a important conversation. It's called We Outside. Okay. So I know y'all like, what, we outside? What you doing? You're not outside. No, that was the name of the title. But more importantly, we will be talking about how to prepare to be outside as it relates to your financial resources. And so, guys, I'm super excited that I have attorney Delwyn Smith. She is here today, and she is going to be helping us to navigate being outside. As some of you all may know, my name is Brandy Harrington. I am the author of The Coins Legacy Keeper. I am a licensed real estate broker here in Jackson, Mississippi. But the reason why we are bringing Wellness Wednesdays to you all is not only to talk about things that impact us in terms of our wellness, but we're talking about our financial wellness, right? So this show is dedicated to help you financially be able to prepare yourself in different aspects that you may not commonly think about. And that is the purpose of why I started Wellness Wednesdays. And so today's call will be with Delwyn Smith, Esquire, and she will be talking about now that we are back outside. Everyone is super excited to be here. We want to make sure that we're protecting things that's near and dear to us, okay? And so I definitely know that a lot of people are going to have a lot of great questions. Feel free to definitely send us those comments. Again, you have to be able to give us access so we can see your name. The other point to this is that one of the tools to be able to help us prepare to be outside so we can have fun is obviously to make sure that if you do not know, there is a resource tool that I'll have available. It will be available in the comment section. Definitely click on the link. So let me go ahead and bring um, Delwyn to the room so we can be able to, more importantly, have this discussion about being outside. Hello,
Hello.
Delwyn. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for being here. I've already welcomed our guests. They are super excited to be here. So we're going to get into this conversation because, like I explained to them, I don't want to omit with the time that we have allocated to talk about a very near and dear subject to me, which is we are outside, right? And
Right.
today's conversation is all about being outside, but more importantly, how to make sure that your finances are prepared for you to be outside. And I know a lot of people are like, what you mean? My finances need to be prepared to go outside? In this day and time, yes, your finances may need to be out on. We need to talk about it because things are happening when we're going outside. And so that is the purpose of why we want to talk about this today on Wellness Wednesday. Okay. But before we get into all that, could you tell and explain to everyone a little bit about who you are? And then we'll get into the questions.
Okay. Well, I'm Delwyn Smith. I'm a realtor and attorney here in Jackson. I'm from Jackson. My law firm basically handles a lot of estate planning work, business planning, trademarks, copyrights, and contracts. So that's what I do at the law firm, and I'm also a real estate broker here in Jackson.
Oh, wow. So, see, not only does she do it all, but she also, just like me, is a real estate broker. But more importantly, she even helps you as it relates to obviously the estate planning that we're going to be talking about. So now that you know a little bit about why I brought her on here with her vast knowledge of this topic, let's talk about being outside, guys. Let's talk about the importance. Hi, on being able to be outside and what that really means. Okay. The reason why we're saying we're outside, we know that obviously these last few 2.5 years, we have but been in the house, right? And
Yes.
a lot of things have happened as a result of being in the house with regards to us. We really wasn't doing anything. We were just staying that in the house. We were obviously making sure that our family was good, our finances were good. We were saving money and coins, right? But more importantly, we were in a situation where we see considered safe, meaning you really didn't go anywhere but from here, maybe to the store, just back and forth, and not really venturing off like you're seeing people get back outside. Mass mandates are coming down. People are back traveling. We're seeing traveling go up exponentially as a result now of these things lifting. And now that we're back outside, guys, I know everyone has been like, I'm so tired of being in the house. Our kids are getting on our nerves, or our grandkids, or our cousins and families. They calling, asking for money and coins to do this. And it's like, I think I need to go back inside. But the point is, we're excited, right? And so that's great. We want to be able to get outside. But now, let's talk about when we're outside now, we need to plan to be outside. And I know you like, what you mean? I don't have to plan. I'm an adult. Listen, listen, listen. We're talking about preparing to plan to make sure that your finances are covered. Okay, guys, we're planning to make sure that if when we go outside, although we don't like to think about this or talk about this topic, it needs to be discussed. And so I'm the one that's going to have this discussion. I know people is not popular, but let's just be honest. This is something that we keep skirting under the rug, and we're thinking, oh, this will never happen to us. And yet we're seeing it more and more with our stars, with people that we know personally, with family members. And we are not planning on these things because we think that for whatever reason, it's not something we got to talk about. So
Right.
today, as we're coming outside, we're planning to have this discussion, being open and honest and transparent as it relates to what does going outside look like, and in the event that an accident occurs, what's going to
Yes.
happen with our coins, y'all? You got to think about it. Like, a lot of you all are here, you're in the room. And let's just, if we do a show of hands, how many of you all have children? How many of you all have husbands? How many of you all are responsible for taking care or responsible for paying those bills as it relates? I mean, maybe your husband just says, here's the bills, you pay it, right?
Right.
Here, this is what you do because you're normally the financier of the house. You know where every dollar is going to go. You're meticulous, right?
Mhm.
Um, these type of conversations are things that I'm sorry, let me somebody just want to talk to me, but I'm here. But more importantly, these are the type of conversations that, although we don't think about it, these things are conversations that we just simply think that we'll just have later on and or it'll be a good time. But how many of you also know that if you are depending on someone else, i.e., a spouse, significant other, or whomever, you're the only one that knows where all the resources are.
Mhm.
Okay, and I see a hand from someone that's saying, "Yeah, that's me," right? If
Yeah.
you're the only one that knows where the money is or the coins are, help us understand how that's going to help your family. If you're outside, and again, we're having living our best life now, which is no judgment. But if something
Right.
would happen and you can't talk, and you're in a situation where
Mhm.
something occurs, how does your family know what to do? So I want to talk to you all about that because again, I'm super excited for you to be outside. I want everyone to be outside, but I think we just have to come back outside in a different attitude and mindset that listen, before I head outside, I need to make sure that again, whether I have done this or not, if there is no right or wrong answer, we just need to be able to start putting these things in place. And that's why I have Delwyn here to talk to you all ladies and to help you understand that this is a conversation that if you think about it, we were never taught this. What do you think about that, Dell?
I think
What
it's
do you
very
think?
important. It's very important. Like when you said earlier, you may be the only one who's handling the financial affairs, right? If something happens to you, you're unable to talk, become incapacitated. What do you have in place that can help your family? That's going to be less stressful. So, where I want to talk about is having a doable financial power of attorney in place. Because if you don't have that in place, then you have to go to court and get a conservatorship or guardianship, and that can take a month.
Wait,
Lately,
wait, wait, wait. I'm sorry. Wait, wait. Back up. What you mean that it can take a month? Or you mean if something happens and I can't get my money, my kids, my family can't get my money, it'd be a month for them to get my money?
yes, I just recently filed, well, over a month ago, I filed for a guardianship, conservatorship, and it took a month before we were able to go before a judge.
So what
And
does somebody have to
yeah,
do? What do they do during this time?
well, we can, request an emergency hearing, but
Okay.
you're temporarily a guardian conservatorship, and some like insurance companies may take that temporary order, but they are looking for the actual order or a power of attorney. And so, with the power of attorney, it helps your family. It helps you and your family because they can decide what decisions you have in order that they can, have on you. And it really takes about a week to, if you hire me today, I can have your power of attorney ready within a week, and you'll have it in place in case something happens to you. You don't have to worry about going to court or being stressful. I had a family where the insurance company would not even communicate with them because they didn't have anything in place. And so that can be stressful. And yes, it was.
Okay, so I know for some of you all who sitting there like, wait, run this
Yeah,
back again for me.
yeah.
So tell us
So
what happened. So what were the events that led to them not even dealing with the family? Like, how
yeah.
did that work?
So they request a conservatorship or power of attorney. And so we had to go
And
to
a
court.
conservatorship is some being able to offer for those that may not know.
A conservatorship and guardianship is basically it's in lieu of a power of attorney. But if you don't have the power of attorney,
Okay.
with the conservatorship and guardianship, you have to get that. You have to go before the court in order to obtain the conservatorship and guardianship. And so that could take maybe a month. And it's just it can be stressful for a family if your loved one is in a hospital. You're trying to get the healthcare decisions, taking care of the financial decisions, and you have to wait a month in order to get everything done. And whereas if you already have the power of attorney healthcare directive, it's right
Mhm.
there in your hand. You don't have to worry about going to court, paying additional fees because those, could cost over $2,000 for a conservatorship or guardianship. It's more expensive. So the
Because now
power
you need it.
attorney.
Okay, so they charge more when you need it, but when you don't, if you
Well,
would need it,
it's
no?
because you have to draft the pleadings, you have to go to court. It's additional work,
I see.
So
I see. Okay.
yeah, you have to go to court. And so it's just it could cost more. That's what I'm saying. With the
Okay.
power of attorney, healthcare can be more, more affordable for families and
Okay.
less stressful. So why not go ahead and have that in place?
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say then is just so we can recap for those who may be just joining us is so we're outside and we live in our best life, we having a good time, and just something would have occurred where the person who now is responsible for all of the financial affairs, they have
Mhm.
children, younger children who rely on them, even a husband, spouse, significant other. But
Yeah.
if they're the only ones that know where the information is on how to access the coins, the money, then
Mhm.
at this point, then the family would literally and they could have insurance policies at their job or work, but the
Mhm.
family would have to then request or get a conservatorship at that point, which will now take about a month before they're able to even do anything. Is that what I'm understanding? That's what you said?
Yes, yes. Now we
Oh,
can, request an emergency hearing, but it's only temporary, and the emergency hearing can be a week before the actual hearing, so you still may have to wait a few
like
weeks.
an
Yeah,
emergency.
it just it really depends on the judge's schedule as well.
Okay.
So and the judge. So I'm not saying it may take 2 weeks. It could take a week. It just depends on the county and the judges. So it may not take. But I'm just giving you my previous experience. It was about a month. Yeah.
Ooh, okay, so now, ladies, let's just be honest. We're a month out. You are in a situation where right now you are obviously seeking help and or maybe getting better and or whatever for whatever situation. You're the only one that knows where the answers to everything is. Let me ask you all right now, how many of you all's family could still survive if it took a month based on this particular example to be able to still float everything in the house? Okay, let me just talk my mind. He's not gonna know if I didn't tell him and we didn't go through some things. So I know that having a whole, let's just be honest, a weekend, if it's not written down, if it's not like, hey, do this, this, that, and the third,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a call or a text. Hey, where's this? What they supposed to do? Da, da, da. So could you imagine 30 plus days with your babies not knowing what to do and or how to navigate? And even just from what you've been able to um, do on your own in your empire. Like you have business, you're a boss women, you all are doing so much. How would that impact the bills that are going to be paid? You still have light bills, you got rent, you got maybe daycare, you got schooling, you got aftercare, whatever those things look like. Everyone has different things. How would that help your family? And more importantly, how would that help your money? Because now at this point, we can't even access it. And so, Attorney Delwin, talk to them in terms of what that would look like if everything was already done and they had the necessary things in place. What would happen then?
Well, what happened then, the family would be less stressed because you already, if something happens, your family is stressed. They're,
Okay.
upset. They want everything to be done quickly. But if you have
Mhm.
everything in place, it would just be a better situation for your family. If you have just a binder or the Coins Journal,
Yeah.
definitely the Coins Journal is perfect to have up to let you know that is a perfect journal to have. Everything is set in place. Your family will have the directions of the policy numbers, the account numbers, or even the passwords. And it just would be so helpful for your family versus them trying to figure things out. And it may take longer than a week just to get everything together. Whereas if it's just in a binder or in a Coins journal, they'll have it right there in front of them. So I think that would be very, very helpful for your family.
Now, see, I didn't even have to do the plug, but because it came from Attorney Delwin
Yes.
Smith, hey, I'm just saying that that helps you too. But we'll drop the link later. But the point is, to her point, if you have everything in place, now you can literally take. Let me get y'all book. Now you can take the Coins Legacy Keeper. Here it is, and you now can go and I'm my question is then I will still contact you to let you know what's going on. Correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And then I can say, hey, we now have a situation, but my mother's and, whomever, we've already completed this. And now we have everything because it's right here to her point that we have everything that we need. What are the next steps? Now you're not in a situation where you're scrambling because to her point, you have everything. She'll have policy information. She'll have all the information. You've hired her, you've retained her and her services to help her help you. So now you're not scrambling to say, "Oh my goodness, I don't even know what to do." And she's asking you questions like, "Okay, guys, this is going to take a month, right?" So
Right.
the family at this point is probably saying, "Well, how do we get? How am I supposed to still bill?"
Mm. Right.
And then as an attorney, correct me if I'm wrong, are they looking, do most people look for you or look to you to answer, like, is there a special rules to get into the bank accounts? Is there special circumstances that allow them to circumvent like things on their job to be able to access this money? Can you tell them about how that process will work? Because, or do you see that a lot in your practice where people are thinking because you're an attorney, you all have special, I ain't gonna say special powers, but maybe you think you have special powers to be able to help do things for them.
Well, for the bank accounts, you can have this before the payable on death beneficiary. Someone you can name someone on your bank account. That would be very
Mhm.
helpful because if not, then you may have to get a conservatorship or probate the case, and it could take probating the case could take 4 months. So that's
1 month to 4 months. Ladies, are y'all hearing this? We
that's
went
an
from 1 month.
even that's an even if someone passed away. But for the bank account, the
Okay.
best thing, the easiest, well, I say the best way is to have that beneficiary on the account.
Okay.
They will be able to have access to your account. In my opinion. Now,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, I'll be honest, inside the Coins Legacy Keeper, again, no plug, but it's a plug. We ask you, who are these things? So we're helping you think through these things because if you don't know my story, this is what I went through. My mother, when she got sick, I was literally responsible for everything. Can you imagine now having a family? having a career, and then immediately within a split second of getting a diagnosis, you are immediately responsible for everything. And so I learned all this the hard way because we didn't ever have this discussion. But what I've learned also is that, like me, so many other people are like myself in the sense where we just think that this is a conversation we're just going to have. And so now hearing the attorney come into this conversation to tell you all that, ladies, this is not a conversation that you just plan for, but it's something that, in the sense that we all don't think that we have to plan for, but it's a necessary conversation rather that we should be planning for. Because when I literally got the news that I am now responsible for all of her affairs, it was just things that I did not know. And I had to start looking at it now in the mindset of, I have a family. What would they do? How do they react? How would my husband know how to be able to pay the bills? What, let me just be honest. I have 2 daughters. They'll be looking at me like, Daddy, mama didn't do this. Mama don't do that. What are you doing, Daddy? And so in order to help make sure he doesn't go too crazy, I need to be able to make it easy for him to be able to deal with certain things. Now, again, we outside now, tying it back in. So where we are, you just want to make sure that it's done for you or your spouse, right? The point is, the being outside is great. We're super excited, but we want to make sure that at the end of the day, when we go outside, we have necessary things in place. This is not to scare you all. This is not to make this be a conversation where you all are fearful for going outside, but this is more so like the planning that we do for what everything else, right? We
Right.
plan the let me think about, oh, when we plan for different events, like we just had the St. Patrick's Day. A lot of people plan to go there, right? Easter is coming up, so you all are making plans. Everybody's getting their Easter suit tuxes. We getting hair done. You're making calls to your beauticians and everybody. And if you didn't know, they probably already are booked up because they're gonna be busy. But the point is, just like that, and even after school things, like people are already signing up for summer camps. I'm seeing that you plan for these things. Why? Not because you just think that, oh, they're going to have these opportunities. You plan for them because you know they're coming, right? You know that they're going to be here. You have the date. What we're talking about is something that may or may not happen. Well, we know one thing will happen ultimately, but we don't know if accidents occur. So what we're asking you to do is think about it in a sense where you don't have the date, but it could potentially happen, right? And what you're doing and what we're communicating today is to really make sure that we cover you, and you, in the sense where from a wellness standpoint, you can have these things. You're bossing up in your life. You're doing things in your household. You have great careers. You're like Attorney Smith. You have so many different hats, but at the same time, she has to make sure all of these things are protected. And so, as you're bossing up, these different conversations are not spoken about often, but they're often, we just think we have time for it.
Right. We always think we have time. We do.
And then what you see, and tell us a little bit before we wrap up, if what you have seen that, had you known or had families have told you or maybe have shared with you that they wish they had known when they're in these situations where they're reaching out for your services.
I've seen a lot of, like I stated earlier, the conservatorships, having to wait to go to court when they need that information or that order that day. It's just seeing the families being stressed. It can be really sad, because they have to wait weeks before being able to handle the loved ones' affairs or handle their healthcare decisions. So I think, just having this document in place, just in case in planning, is very, very important for everybody. I mean, even I had a family where their child he was going overseas, over 21, and they wanted to make sure they had these documents in place because if something happens to their child, they'll be able to have access, to him, to his financial decisions or healthcare decisions. So it's very important. It's very for any age. I mean, you don't have to be over 40. It can be just 20s, 30s.
You mean tell me we don't have to be just when I'm 35 plus years old, then I need to go ahead and do this?
I think once you get it could be your 20s. Anything can happen in your 20s. I think people think when they get older that they should start taking care of these type of situations. But I mean, at any age, anything can happen to you. So it's very important for all ages to have this in place.
So that you said everything right there. You said it's important for any age. And I think that's the thing that we think that there's a magic number, right? We think
Right.
there's a magic number to have this. But to your point, this is for any age. There were that example, they were 20, the young man was 21 years old, but the parents wanted to make sure they had this in place, right?
Right.
I think that speaks volumes because you never think about your 21-year-olds going off to college or 18-year-olds maybe going off to college, but you just want to make sure you have certain things in place. And obviously, seeking your services early helps families know what options need to be put in place and when. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Because
Yes.
and now, so tell them a little bit more before we end. What all services do you do for if they were to call you and actually work with you?
For the estate planning, I do handle. We have trust plans, which includes the portable wills, the healthcare directive, and a power of attorney. We also have the will plan, which is the basic will with the
Mhm.
power of attorney, healthcare directive. But I've had some clients who are requesting a power of attorney right now because of their family member had to go through the conservatorship uh,
Mhm.
court system. So they really wanted the power of attorney healthcare, and then they'll come back for the will later. But I do help with all those basic components of the estate planning.
So it looks like you do it all then. So, ladies, as you can see and hear, we are here to help you with Wellness Wednesday because it's really important and vital that you are securing all of this. Like Attorney Smith said, this is not something that that she's going to be doing just to work on just one facet for your family. She can deal with various degrees depending on whatever situation. But the point is that you need to at least start having this conversation. You going outside, great. We're excited that you're out there. Let's just make sure that we're covered. We're planning to be outside. We're planning to make sure our finances, the things that we work really hard for, are secured and they're kept. And so that is one of the things why I brought her here is to help you make this decision and helping you realize what really goes on real world when these things are not in place. And so before we get ready to end, obviously due to our time constraints, is there anything else, Attorney Smith, that you would like to talk to the audience about?
Can't think of anything else, but I do want the audience to really consider having a power of attorney and healthcare directive. In addition to a will, I think everyone should have a will. Even you have a watch, you should have a will. Just estate planning is something we don't talk about a lot or haven't
Mhm.
talked about a lot. And I just think that it's something that you can sit down with your family and close friends and just talk about it because it's very important to have.
Okay. Well, ladies, thank you. I want to again thank Attorney Smith for her time. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to drop her contact information, ladies, in the chat. You feel free to reach out to her and make sure that you schedule a call to talk with her about her services because I know that you found all of this information super valuable, but more importantly, you want to make sure that you have these things in place. And so, again, thank you so much for being here. You never. We're going to see her a little bit more. We have some more series coming up on different topics, but more importantly, you'll be able to learn more about this particular conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and drop her back down in the room, and I'll come back just a second. Um,
Thank
Bye. So, ladies, thank you all so much. I hope that you all found this to be very helpful. I think it's a conversation that we often think that we have time to do, we're going to have time for. And more importantly, we just think that, hey, that's not that important. But as you can see and have listened today, you can see all of the different ways and things that need to be done when you're outside to protect your finances. And if you're thinking about this in a conversation like, you're right, what happens to my babies? Because that's again how my mindset is. We want to protect them. We want to protect all that we had worked hard for. Again, there's going to be a link for the Coins Legacy Keeper. It is in here. And again, guys, all of the information that she spoke about is in this journal. You don't have to scramble and worry, wonder what I'm going to need. You can literally take that to this attorney and to your attorneys, and they can be like, great, you've done all the hard work in the sense of the details. That's what this journal really deals with, is the details as it relates to your day-to-day activities, and more importantly, making sure that that information is easily in one place where your family is not scrambling. So thank you so much for being a part of the Wellness Wednesdays. I will see you all next Wednesday for our next episode. And more importantly, we're going to keep you well, and we're going to keep and secure your coins as well. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.